Hello everyone, Ogre27 Kane here today, and I want to do a review of Axiom Verge for the Nintendo Switch. Let's do a little bit of an overview and figure out what this game is all about. So this game came out all the way back in 2015. It's made by one man named Thomas Happ Games. Yes, there is a sequel to it, Axiom Verge 2, and I do have that physically as well. But it's quite a bit different game and it will deserve its own review and its own video in time. I also haven't finished 100%ing everything on it as it's quite a bit bigger than this one. This game I originally played back on the Wii U, and it was also on the PS4. I love the Switch version as it comes with a ton of goodies, and the physical is awesome. It might be a little bit expensive now as it's kind of an older game, but totally worth the pickup and worth your time. The last thing I want to say is that this is a Metroidvania through and through, 100%, and it's very close to the aesthetic of Super Metroid, so if you're a fan of the Metroid games, this is definitely one to check out. Let's start out with the first category, the gameplay. So the gameplay in this is, as I said, a Metroidvania. But don't let that turn you off if you're not familiar with those. This game has a lot of really good mechanisms to help get you into it. There are a ton of different weapons and a bunch of upgrades, some really cool secrets and features, and some glitches, if you will, in the game that will take you by surprise. On top of that, the story on this game is pretty fantastic. I really didn't know what to expect because most of these games are kind of simplistic in this aspect, but this game really has a really rich and deep lore. Thomas Happ spent a lot of time just building the world and manufacturing ideas for what he wanted before he implemented everything. This game took him quite a while to build, and Axiom Verge did too. He takes a lot of pride in his work, and I'm really happy he does because these games are absolutely fantastic. So one more gameplay feature I do have to mention is how unique and awesome all of the guns and abilities mesh in this game. You may find yourself using an ability to kill a monster, and find out that using a gun to solve the puzzle is the answer. I really like how these kind of cross-mesh back and forth, and it allows you to break the game and does have a speedrun mode for using this effectively. If you really enjoy these kind of games, this game has a ton of features which are really user-friendly to get into, but really offer a ton of challenge and a lot of variation. Let's move on now to the next category, the story. Well, in this story, you're a scientist named Trace, and you're trying to do some research at this hidden unknown facility. You accidentally screw something up and you think you die. In reality, you get sent through this vortex or this dimension called the Breach, and you find yourself on this planet called Sudra. After you figure out what's going on a little bit, through the first 5 or so hours, you start to help out these robots in their quest to stop Athetos and his goal of destroying their world. Everything slowly uncovers as you play the game, and it's really not what you think it is. The game has some really good twists and a nice little dilemma to it. The end boss of the game also really plays into it really strongly, and you'll figure this out as you get to him. I really enjoyed the interactions with these robots as they offer kind of a third-person, outside-of-the-box perspective to what you're doing in your mission, but it's still enough to make you question and wonder what's really happening. Are you being used? Do they really have good intentions for you? I don't know, you'll have to play it and find out. Let's do graphics and animations now. So even though this game is from 2015, you can see that the artwork and animation holds up perfectly. He did a fantastic job integrating all of this stuff and making it beautiful. All of his hard work paid off in my opinion, and I love the aesthetic to this game. As you can see, every boss in this is big too, and they have a ton of different variation to what they're doing. Once you learn their moveset, yeah, they're kind of a pushover. But until then, they'll really give you a run for your money. When you get to the end of the game, the last area in this game is really difficult, and all of the areas are completely different, so you'll feel kind of this imposing doom upon you as you're playing it. But you'll find a different area that may have a different aesthetic, which is calm and soothing. The audio in this game plays into that really strongly as well too, and you'll find that some of the best parts of this game are just the ambience to the area that you're in. I absolutely love what he did here, and this is something that will remain timeless to me. It's almost like Mario in its aesthetic. Absolutely gorgeous. So let's talk about controls and audio now. So we'll start off first with the audio, as I love the audio in this game, but I can see how it'd be a little contentious. Either you love it or hate it. The sound effects can be annoying, and they can also be awesome too. Every weapon seems to have its own sound effect. One really cool unique feature is that the sound on this game makes you go to this world, and I love that. So I'm going to show my favorite track on this. Let's hear it. Man, I love how hard that bass hits. If you haven't, listen to this game on a nice pair of headphones because it sounds fantastic. A lot of depth to the music. Let's talk controls real quick. The controls in this game are very snappy and quick and responsive. I really have no contention with them whatsoever. It takes a minute to get used to how you select your guns, but once you do that, and the nice part is the game pauses for you in between, you'll figure it all out. So let's talk combat now. So the combat in this game is both the high point and the low point. The high point being, it allows you a ton of ways to manipulate the environment and the enemies to solve puzzles or take them out. Some enemies are extremely frustrating, and they have their own aspects in this sense to manipulate, to figure out. It can also be super frustrating in a low point when you can't figure this out, and an enemy keeps taking you out and they're standing between you and the save point. This is a frustrating aspect to older games as there's no autosave feature and you can lose a lot of progress. But it's also really rewarding, and it gives you a good sense of achievement when you do figure out the puzzle to the enemy and you take them out. I love all of the different abilities too, as there's tons of ways to manipulate how you kill that enemy without even using your weapons. There's a phase shift that you can pass through them and destroy them. There are also different things like your grappling hook that can allow you to move around them without even having to interact with them. So if you enjoy these puzzle solving aspects to your combat, you should enjoy this game. But just know, if these are frustrating and you just want to kill the enemy and move on, this may not be the game for you, as it requires a ton of this throughout the entire game. I already previously stated in this video that the end area and end boss is really difficult, so I highly recommend that you practice with each gun and figure out what works best for you. So let's move on now and do our conclusion. So in conclusion, is this 2015 game worth it? Absolutely. The artwork, the aesthetic, the controls, the audio, the sound design, everything fits together perfectly. This game was a labor of love, and it really shows, whether you play this on the Wii U, the PlayStation 4, I believe it's even on the Vita, don't quote me on that, or the Switch. It's worth your time and effort. The game holds up and has a ton of value, and there's a lot of replay value to it too, especially if you're into speedrunning. So without further ado, I think you should check this game out and give it some time and love. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, as I really enjoyed making it. This game is a lot of fun. So thank you for watching. It was a blast to make. I upload every single Monday. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. And have a great rest of your day. This is Ogre27 Kane signing out.